Hey guys, this is Mr. MJFan 101 Alt here, and today I'll be reviewing NASCAR The Game Inside Line. First of all, the graphics are just as good as 2011, and so is the audio. The career mode in Inside Line is a little more streamlined this time around. You actually start with a bad car and have to earn money to buy upgrades to things, such as your engine and transmission, which if you watched my previous review is one of the main complaints I had about the first game. And they also added sponsors, which earn you extra money. You have secondary sponsors, which you can have multiple of, or the primary sponsor, where you only have one, and you have to use that one throughout the entire season, but you can switch it up at the end of the season. Invitational events are still around, and they're also specifically just for money. You race through the whole season, including the chase, and try to win the championship. Another improvement is that you can do more than one season in career, which makes sense because if you couldn't, then you wouldn't be able to change your primary sponsor, and I think I mentioned it in my last review, that you could not do more than one season in last year's game, and that was another big complaint, and they fixed that one as well. They also have included Season Mode, which is the same thing as Career, just with an actual driver instead of your created one. Quick Race is still around, along with the new addition, the Highlights Mode, where you can relive or rewrite history and certain highlights of past seasons. They use the car's telemetry data to accurately recreate the scenarios, which is a nice touch. The only seasons that you can relive or rewrite history are 2011 and 2012 so far, but it seems that they will add 2013 at the season's conclusion. I find this mode very fun because some of the challenges can get pretty difficult. I find the one where you have to beat Jeff Gordon at Atlanta as Jimmy Johnson to be pretty difficult. I also heard of people complaining that the Better Than Sliced Bread challenge is way too difficult and should definitely be made a little bit more easy. And after playing it, I've noticed most of that has to do with them using the car's telemetry data, but I'll get to that later in the review. But anyways, I think there should be an achievement just for completing the Better Than Sliced Bread challenge. It's literally that hard. Multiplayer in Inside Line isn't too big of an improvement over the last game's multiplayer. It still has surges, lag, and a ton of bugs, but it isn't as bad as 2011. It can be a lot of fun when you're playing with a group of friends or a league, but it's almost impossible to have fun when you're playing with randoms. Overall, multiplayer can be pretty fun, but it's only fun when you're playing with friends. To wrap up, there's also some other game modes, like Eliminator, which is really fun on Bristol if you cause a huge pile-up, because Eliminator is this thing where you start in last in a 43 car field, and you run around for one lap, and then it starts counting off a timer. This timer can be set from anywhere like from 5 seconds to I think 15, maybe even longer. And every let's just say you set it to 10 seconds, the last place car is eliminated until there's one car left. And that is why it is so much fun in Bristol, because in Bristol, if you cause a huge pile-up, it's just so easy to win. And there's also invitational events, which are just random different challenges for different kind of pins. And you don't go on them too much unless you're a completionist, because doing the actual races is more fun. But if you're a completionist, then you'll probably find yourself going on them. The paint booth is also pretty good, but Forza's paint booth is definitely way better because it's more streamlined. You have more options. And the storefront, where you can buy different sponsors and decals that are custom made. I like that as well. There's also more reasons, but those are the three main reasons why Forza's is better. But this game still has a decent paint booth. Now that I'm done with my credits and complaints about the game, it's time for the final verdict. I give NASCAR The Game Inside Line an 8.7. It's a huge improvement over the last game, but with some more tiny tweaks, it could be so much better.